everyone, and welcome back to eSailGP, the world's fastest virtual sail racing. I'm your host, Shay Thompson, and today we are live with the Bermuda Qualifier Final, the first of 6 where our players will be testing their skills piloting some of the world's most high-tech race boats in a virtual environment. Last month's Invitational saw Farley and Deja Vu go head-to-head, and even though Farley hit the mark mid-race, he still managed to clinch the win with an 8-second lead. Nothing is set in stone though. As we saw last time, anything can happen. And I cannot wait to see what we've got in store today. Before we meet our commentators, let's get a little reminder for how it all works. If you're new to eSailGP, here's what you can expect when the action starts. A countdown marks the moment the players can cross the start line. They can build up their speed, but if a boat crosses the line before the timer hits 0, they must return to the starting line and lose valuable time. From the start, it's out to the first mark before heading downwind to the bottom gate, followed by the long stretch heading upwind to the top gate. They repeat this loop once more before the charge to the finish line. Players will be monitoring the speed and direction of the wind and also on the lookout for patches of darker water, as this indicates a higher wind speed. The whole fleet will battle it out over 3 races, with 10 points for the winner, 9 for the second, and so forth. The 2 players with the most points will go through to the match race, cross the line first, and you are the champion, earning your place at the eSailGP Grand Final. And there you have it. And if you'd like to have a go at the game yourself, you can. Search Virtual Regatta Inshore on the App Store or Google Play Store, and very soon you'll be skippering your own EF50. Right, now it's time to welcome back our commentators from last time, Leo Takahashi and Nathan Outteridge, all the way from Bermuda this time. Welcome back, guys. It's great to see you both. How's it going?
Thank you. It's great to be back. We're here in Bermuda. We've been sailing on the F50, but now it's time to switch our focus onto watching these guys race virtually. Amazing.
Leo, how is Bermuda treating you? Do you have any interesting gossip for us, or has it all just been training and sailing?
It's just been hard training and sailing, really. Not much in great conditions, and no, we can't really complain.
Amazing.
I don't know if it's been great conditions. It's raining pretty hard here at the moment, so hopefully it's nice and sunny for the racing this weekend. But yeah, as Leo said, it's been awesome to get back in the boat after over a year, and the new team's gelling well, and yeah, looking forward to getting in the racing in the coming days.
Amazing. And Nathan, tell me, how are the COVID restrictions affecting everyone competing?
It's actually not been too bad for us so far. Obviously, Bermuda's in a COVID lockdown here at the moment, and we're running in the bubble system. So, you know, Bermuda's a great island. It would be great to go and explore and see some of the sites, but so far for us, it's been all work. It's been hotel, straight to the tech site, putting the boat together, going sailing. But we've done enough miles around the Great Sound to see enough of Bermuda, and you know, SailGP's done a great job of making sure we can keep racing given the circumstances.
Amazing stuff, and what circumstances they are with all that weather. Good thing is, with eSailGP, we don't have to worry about that. I think it's time to get started. Shall we get started?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Amazing. So we've met your commentators. It's time now to see who will be taking part in today's regatta. So from Spain, we've got Augustin. Dialing in from Greece, we've got GRE9. From Italy, we've got M. Prodigio. From the first of our Frenchmen is July Fra. The second Frenchman is Galzin. From Croatia, we've got Stepan Jezic. From Portugal, we've got Chico P. Mello. And last but certainly not least is Deja Vu from Scotland, who you might recognise as the current eSailGP champion. Right now, so we've got our commentators, we've got our players. It's time now for the first of the fleet races. So Leo and Nathan, I'm leaving it in your very capable hands.
Well, it's good to be back, and we've got race 1. It looks like lightish winds to start off with. A few familiar names, including the current eSailGP champion, Deja Vu. Look, Nathan, it's race 1. There's been one invitation already. This one actually counts for the overall championship in the end. What are you thinking for this race?
Well, I think it's pretty critical to get a key start. You see the boats all here on a lot of speed. Couple a little bit late by looks of this. everyone to be on time, and away they go. Looks like that's a clear start for everyone. And the French boat here is a long way back from that first mark. I think the inside turn is going to be key here because it looks like it's an early jibe, Leo.
And it looks like the Spanish boat was first around the mark, and he's sailing very clean. It looks like that middle of the start line worked best, and the guys that were on the outside quite couldn't get around or get inside of the reach mark. So it'll be the Spanish with a good ley line coming into the bottom. And as he rounds, we'll see how the fleet shapes up, and looks like it's very congested around the bottom. Look like the teams are quite gun shy at the start. Usually we see a few guys over, Nathan.
We do, and it's interesting here. Most people have taken that left-hand turn looking down when it's only the Japanese boat here that's tacking. Oh, that looks like could be a potential boundary penalty there, but everyone else is coming back on starboard tack right now. Spain got a pretty convincing lead. You know, right now, get in front in a race, like the whole goal is just sort of protecting your lead and covering the fleet, and Spanish have done a good job here protecting the right-hand side of the course at the moment. You don't want to be sailing anyone's dirty air in SailGP, do you?
No, you don't. We're usually in front. The rich get richer, so you know the Spanish boat's probably his lead's gonna extend, and it looks like all these guys are heading out that left-hand side, and they only have to do one more tack, which means they'll have to do one more tack and they'll get on the ley line quite easily enough. So as we see, the French boat actually virtually it looks like they've taken the lead, but the Spanish boat coming across will have the starboard advantage, and as I say that, the Spanish boat tacked right in front of the French, and looks like he's still holding on to the lead.
Leo, I'm quite interested how many tacks the Spanish boat's done on this first upwind. You know, normally in eSailGP, I've watched you play it quite a lot. You kind of go boundary to boundary because tacks are quite costly. Why do you think he's doing so many tacks?
Well, it seems to be like there is actually quite a few shifts as he's quite tight on ley line, and Spanish boat will round, and wow, it's amazing how congested this fleet is. And
that's got to be a penalty for France there at port tack. Sorry to interrupt. Port starboard at the top mark. That's not how you win races, is it?
No, that is definitely how you lose races, actually. And so yeah, the fleet was very congested. Yes, when I played the game, it's our tacking isn't as good as these guys, so we usually lose so much on the tacks that we have to go all the way. That's why we go boundary to boundary. But these guys are so good at this game that they reduce their tacking speed so much that they just can tack anytime they want on any shift. So that's the difference between me playing the game and these guys who are professional gamers.
That was a really good downwind for Spain there. It was a right-hand shift, so he basically did it in one jibe and instantly tacks around the bottom mark to get in phase. So a right-hand shift means you want to be on starboard tack going upwind. See all the boats quickly getting onto that. And, you want to sail the lifts upwind and the headers downwind, don't you, Leo?
You really do. You really want to sail the tack closest. It's going to take you close to the mark. And as we see that, the Spanish tack again, just to consolidate his lead, and he's really just laying back and saying, I'll take this from here.
As you see everyone tacking over on the port boundary, it looks like Spain's got a reasonable lead now, but there's a lot of fighting going on now for the minor places. And I think one of the key things we found from the Invitational a few weeks ago was it's these minor places that are going to get you into the final. So just because you're in third or fourth position, know that any one of these group of 5 people can get third or fourth here, and that's what's really going to count to make the final race today.
Yeah, that's right, because you never know who's going to drop down in the next few races, and it's all about consistency in sailing. The big story is that Deja Vu is actually in 6th place at the moment, so if he wants to make this final, he's really going to have to pull some places back in this race or in the next races to come. And let's say that the Spanish boat's about to round the top mark for the last time as he heads downhill to the reach mark. He jibes early, and there's a big group of boats stacking up for this mark, so could be a few penalties flying.
Yeah, and look at that. There's Deja Vu splitting the course, going around the other mark. A lot of people took the right-hand turn. It looks like they're laying into the gate here. Final jibe for Spain, heading to the finish. He's going to win this race. That one's not a problem. The most interesting part of this race now comes down to the minor placing. Looks like we have the Portuguese boat in 2nd position as we see Spain cross the line now. Leo, call them all through for us.
As I see that, we've got the white boat coming across, and then the blue and black boat. Great race. Greece 9 actually crossing in 3rd place, and we see the Japanese boat and Deja Vu picking up 1 place to finish in 5th with the 2 Frenchies coming across, and we have the Japanese boat crossing in last. I hope that doesn't happen to us next week. But yeah, as we see it, we got 10 points for the Spanish. Augustin and Pep Milo, the ninth, taking away 9 points, and Greece 9 taking away 8 points. So the points are always going to be close here. So it's all about who's going to be consistent in the next few races.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at some of the race stats, it looks like Greece 9 had the best start here. 0.3 of a second off the line at full speed. You can see he made speed there for our Spanish guy in Agustin with 0.1 knots. That's very fast. And, you know, you look down at the bottom, you know, a lot of jibes there for Chico Mello, who came third. So, you know, lots of manoeuvres on the course.
Must be driving in the right places, though. As we see the legs chart, there was Greece 9 who had the epic start, but he just couldn't quite get around all the boats at the reach mark, and he just held third place the rest of the race. And Augustine from Spain actually second place off the line, and he was the one that was able to get the top speed on the reach and pass everyone else. And from then on, he held first place all around. So it seems like you know, if you get a good start and you're there or thereabouts in the reach mark, and I mean, you don't pick up any penalties or make any silly mistakes, you're going to be up on the top 3.
So Augustin from Spain there, dominating that first race. Leo, tell me, where was that race won? It seems like he kind of grabbed it at the start. Walk us through what happened.
Yeah, look, he didn't do anything silly off the start line. He you know, started second off the line in the stats, and from then on he got around the top boat at the reach, and from then on he was able to extend his lead. He didn't make any you know, mistakes in the shifts, and he takes in the right places and drive in the right places. So if you do that, you're generally going to win races.
Amazing. Nice and concise. I love it. And Nathan, what can the rest of the fleet do in order to close the gap?
I think it looked pretty clear. The top 3 had a really good start. They started middle to leeward of that start line, which enabled them to get that early jibe. You know, if you're starting late, which some people are in the second row or at the windward end of the line, you've got to have a lot more speed than the others to get to the front. So, you know, these races, you know, it's looking like it's all about the start and then not having any penalties or making errors from there. So I can see everyone's going to push the start a lot harder this one.
Awesome stuff. Well, if you're just joining us and missed the first race, Augustin from Spain took the first place spot with GRE9 and Chico P. Mello in second and third. Right, let's hope they take your advice to heart. It's time now for the second of the fleet races.
Well, after a pretty thrilling race 1, I'm guessing all the guys will have their nerves shaken out, and they'll probably push a little bit harder, Nathan.
They haven't. It looks like it's a lot windy. You can see the dark waters, you know, proving to be quite windy right now, and everyone's just setting up a long way from the line. 30 seconds to go. It's all about time on distance and nail this start. And you know, I expect everyone's going to be pushing this start a lot harder.
Looks like it's gone a little bit to the left at the reach mark, so might see a few boats coming in actually quite hot into the line with a bit of pace. So as they start accelerating, we've got 10 seconds to go. There's a few boats hanging back, but yeah, they look like they're going to be racking up quite evenly on the line. 5 seconds to go. And the Spanish boat's dangerously close and early, so he's got to slow down. And we see that blue and black boat is that the Greece team coming in, and it looks like it's going to be the French boat coming in with the Japanese. But no, it's actually Chico P. Mello from Portugal who takes first place around the reach mark, and he's jive onto a perfect ley line. A few penalties flying around. We've got Agustin who won the last race and a penalty, and he's slowly falling back to the pack.
So as they're coming into the bottom mark, not laying, so you're going to see a little double jibe here or potentially a bottom mark split. That was a really nice bottom mark rounding. Leah, could you do that if you were playing this game?
No, we're only going to be able to do everything. We're going really wide, so these guys, full credit to them for pulling that manoeuvre off. And I think it's going to pay off because now it looks like he's in the lead.
Oh, there was a little dial down there, I saw at that, and you can see Portugal here doing a nice job on port tack out of phase, but straight away getting tacked on. That shadow you see behind the boat, that's a wind shadow. That slows the boats down, and you can see here on the left-hand side, Deja Vu, out of the picture once again.
Right, again, he's got a bit of work to do, but looking at the statistics now, it looks like he has got the lead. Must be a bit of a left-hand shift on the left-hand side, but look at these guys going all the way to the right, making use of the start line box. This means that they won't have to hit the boundary, and they'll probably have to do less manoeuvres, but it's all about Stefan Sejic on the right-hand side and the Japanese boat from the right-hand side doing well. Ronstadt and Deja Vu tacking He realised that he can't actually cross the guys from the right, so he's going to have another dig at this left-hand side.
All right, all boats are on starboard tack right now, looking like one more tack for the fleet. Probably going to be taking right-hand turn here at the top mark. Do you think anyone's going to do a split and take the left-hand side, looking at the wind graphic right now, looks like on that course?
Yeah, it seems to me that's what everyone's trying to set up for, and as we see, very close windward-leeward situation with Deja Vu and this white boat, Chico Pimelo, I think, as they round. Looks like they're going to jibe early just to get on that knocked jibe, the closest angle to the bottom mark.
So we're going downwind here. You can see quite a big lead for the Croatian boat at the moment. That Japanese boat in the distance is actually a Croatian driver. And look at that jibe from the British boat. He's even going to try and luff. Yep, and he's caused the penalty there. How often does that happen in these kind of racings where you get close together and someone gets a penalty and it really costs you badly, doesn't it, Leo?
It does, because your speed gets decreased by 10 knots and you're going 35 knots and your speed goes down to 25. That's big losses. And Deja Vu making a really good maneuver there around the bottom mark. It was a double jibe to JK early tack. So I don't think we can be able to do that in an F50, but with these guys, again, you can. But full hats off. As we see, we follow Emprodigio from Italy, second place in a real tight battle with Deja Vu, who's the current eSailGP champion. It'll be really interesting if Deja Vu can get around him here, because all these places are going to count towards the end score.
They are, and you can see here the top three have got quite a big lead from the other boats. But if you look at the wind graphic on the top left-hand side of your screen, you can see a lot windier on the left-hand side of the course, and I'm surprised everyone's actually sailed over to the lighter side of the course.
As you say that, though, they're starting to increase speed now as they hit that line of pressure. It's going to be really close between this Italian and Deja Vu here. It's going to be, this Italian boat's going to do its best to actually protect his lead and keep this second place, because it's going to be very important in the overall standings. As they approach the ley line, you can see these guys actually dip down and get more speed before they tack. It seems to be a technique that all these top guys are doing, just to increase speed before the tack.
You know, one of the things I like the most about this race is there is two Japanese boats leading the fleet. You know, those boats look very pretty, and you know, we spend a lot of time looking at that kind of branding on our boat, and it's great to see them at the front of the fleet today.
Absolutely, and these guys are leading by example. Hopefully we can get our boat, our F50 in the front of the fleet this weekend actually, during the proper racing, as the Croatian leads. And it's a very tight cross between Italian and Deja Vu, but it's the Italian that gets the upper hand. So it will be two Japanese and two, and Deja Vu in third place, 100 metres behind the lead.
And one of the biggest things I noticed there is there was a lot of position changing in that race, particularly from like third through to eighth. Those were flipping all over the place. And Spain, you know, our first race when it coming across in fourth, he should be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, the way he started, and I think he got a penalty in the reach mark, so he definitely picked up a few places, and fourth is better than seventh, so he'll be lucky to take that. As we see the placings there, we got Secic from Croatia picking up 10 points for that race, Emprodigio from Italy in taking 9 points, and Deja Vu taking away 8 points. So I guess a few guys did well this race, and the points are going to be very contested.
And once again here, Greece 9, best start of the whole fleet. Didn't convert that into a good race result, and top speed over 50 knots there, 50.6 for Chico Melo from, I think he's from Portugal. So that was a good race, and plenty of manoeuvres by Deja Vu, 16 jibes in that race total. So a lot of manoeuvres.
The 50 knot barrier had been broken. But as we see the race chart here, Greece 9 started off in first place with that epic start. He even hit the bottom of the standings once, but he picked himself up for sixth place. So, you know, he made a really bad race into an average one. And big story here would be Chico Pimelo. He started off right, got back to second place, but he picked up that unfortunate penalty and he dropped all the way back down to fifth place. So he'll be kicking himself, and I think he'll be risking everything for this last race.
I think he will.
So Stepan Chesic takes that second win. Leo, he was pretty much in control for that whole race. Do you think he can do it again and make it to the final?
Well, in my past experience commentating these races, not usually the person that wins the last race will take the next one. So that's how close this fleet is. It's whoever gets the best start and leads around the reach mark usually has a pretty strong chance. So, look, I'm not taking any bets if he will win the next one, but I think I'll hedge my money on the person that wins the start and gets around that reach mark first.
Sensible bets, love to see it. Nathan, you were talking about the conditions out on the virtual waters. Does it draw any comparisons to the waters out in Bermuda at the moment?
Well, I think the conditions in Bermuda are very changeable. We've got a lot of land all around the course, so sometimes there's more wind on the right and the left, and the angles are changing a lot. So when you see the wind graphic on the eSailGP, you can see the dark water and the lighter water. That's what the sailors are trying to work around. They're trying to work around the shifts and more and less wind, and it's exactly how we have to tackle the course here in Bermuda.
Amazing stuff. Well, we'll see how you lot get on and how they get on as well. If you're just joining us, Augustin and Stepan Chesic are both sitting at the top of the leaderboard with 17 points each. Can Stepan do it again and make it all the way to the final? Let's find out. It's time for the third of the fleet races. Leo and Nathan, it is all yours.
Race number 3, probably the most important race of this series, except for the match race, of course, because these points are so congested, and whoever wins this race will actually get into the match race. So, a pretty important race for these guys. They're going to be pretty nervous, but I feel like these guys are going to push the boats real hard. Look, the wind is up, and it looks like it's going to be very shifting, so could see a few lead changes as well.
We definitely could, and you're right, this is probably the most important race for these 8 teams that are out on the water. You can see some teams a long way back from the line right now, pulling the trigger and getting it going. And is that a penalty? No, it's not a penalty. It's just showing you that they're close together. That's how much I know about SailGP. That circle around the boat, I'm still trying to learn out what that means. But here they go, full speed across the line, and it's a clear start for everyone. Full speed on the reach, 47 knots by the windward boat here. Long way to get around the fleet though, isn't it?
Long way to get around, especially with the angle. So 106 true, it's not the best angle you want to be sailing, especially in this boat. Maybe in the real boats, it's probably the hardest angle to sail to the reach mark, but in this boat, in this game actually, you can actually manage it. But it looks like Chico Mello actually has nailed the ley line here, and he's right in the middle of the gate. Looks like the French boat is first, and he'll be rounding and taking the lead. And it looks like there's going to be a bit of congestion at the bottom mark as the Spanish boat just narrowly gets around. And it looks like all the boats are going to be heading out to the right-hand side. A few JKs or round-up tacks happening. Following Chico Mello from Portugal. He's got a clear lane. Looks like all the boats that did go out to the right were in bad air, Nathan. So looks like the Chico Mello is having a dip though, so he's actually not looking too good. Good right-hand shift.
That's always the hard thing. When you're coming back for that first cross on the upwind, the white boat here, you can see them, they keep having to duck. That's because they're on port tack. So port tack doesn't have right of way. So everyone who's on starboard tack, all these boats here that you can see sailing, right to left on your course, they have right of way. So boats now tacking onto starboard tack, they have the right of way. This boat here we're following right now closely, the Greece boat, Greece 9, is on port. So whenever they come together with another boat, they have to dip them, they have to go behind them, or they have to tack. So although you might be making gains on this tack, you still have to give way to the fleet. But as you can see right now, France got a commanding lead.
Look at that. He did one tack up the boundary on the right, did another tack all the way out to the boundary, and looks like he's done the least amount of tacks anywhere else. So very commanding lead for France, and I think this lead's only going to stretch, but it's all about the mid-pack here. We've got Greece 9 tacking onto the ley line now from the right-hand side, coming across on starboard tack, so he will have right of way. But it seems to be all about the left-hand side here as all the boats are filtering in, coming in. Japanese boat coming off very close tack from Deja Vu there, and looks like he's going to get rolled by the Greece 9. Looks like the breeze actually on the left-hand side looking downwind, so looks like France, he's taking into it now. He's got 38 knots of boat speed downwind, and looks like he's just doing jibes down the boundary.
It's really interesting. He's jibing down the boundary probably because of a shift, but the other boats behind are getting into this stronger wind. You can see Bronston, Deja Vu doing a couple of jibes down the middle. I'm impressed with how often they jibe downwind. Whenever I've played the game, I go boundary to boundary because that's your natural tendency, because the jibe loss on an F50 is quite a lot, but it doesn't look like these guys lose much distance at all in their jibes.
And look how dark the screen is now, so we've got plenty of breeze for this next upwind. We got some of the boats going 45 knots straight downwind, so plenty of breeze as we see a few round-up tacks are happening again. Deja Vu already doing 2 tacks, so he must see a left-hand shift, and he's going to try and get to the boundary first now. The Japanese boat taking it over is going to be Outteridge from Italy, actually covering the rest of the fleet now. It looks like they're using a start box to actually do less manoeuvres. I'm going to see a penalty here for Chico Pimello. He was just pushing too hard.
That's expensive. That's probably going to cost him the match race. If he had any chance of making it, I think it's now gone.
That's absolutely right. Outteridge in second place from Italy. This is going to set him up really nicely for the match race.
We've got 4 boats here, 3 boats here racing for second, very close between the French, the British and the Japanese boat here. Obviously, Japanese boat got a small lead right now, but any shift or any penalty or boundary penalty could really cost any of these 3 boats. But, it's pretty sort of solid in those top 4 positions. I don't see any of those positions changing right now. And you see, again, when you get in front, your tendency is always to tack on the competition, as we saw the Japanese boat there tack right on top of Deja Vu, and I can't work out the points. I don't know who's going to make the race at this moment.
Well, at this moment in time, the French boat who was winning this race, it was a little bit behind the points compared to the rest of the fleet, but I think it's very close in the mid pack. We've got Stefan Sejic, he's there or thereabouts. Augustin's not doing very well. Greece 9's doing terribly, and those guys are the runs up in the front, so Deja Vu gets into 3rd place here. He's going to be coming in pretty, and I'd say that's pretty clutch from him if he comes into this match race.
So here we go, coming to the finishing line. July from France is going to take out this final race. And that's exactly how you want to finish your fleet racing. Win the final race, that gives you the best possible chance to make it. Next is the Italian boat and the Japanese boat itself. And then we've got Ronston Deja Vu crossing on in 3rd, followed by France, Spain, and another Japanese boat there. But man, that was a really close race. And I think for me, that penalty that the white boat here got on that last upwind was probably very costly. I think that might have cost him a chance of making the match race.
Yeah, I agree. It was very careless, but it's all about July from France, who took race 3 and he picks up 10 big points. Prodigo from Italy, 9 points, and Ronstadt 8 points. But the big story is Stefan Sejic, Greece 9, Chico Pimello in the bottom 3, picking up really low points. So it'll be really interesting to see how they stand up in the rankings. If they make the match race or not.
And here's the general stats. Once again, Greece 9, best start. He is nailing all the starts, but obviously found himself in a bit of trouble in this racing. Top speed came from Ronston Deja Vu with 48.5 knots. And once again, looking at the manoeuvres down the bottom, largest number of penalties. Those are the things that cost you. Manoeuvres and penalties are the things that aren't getting you towards the next mark the quickest, and that was definitely a bit of an issue for those guys.
That's correct, and as we see the stats again, Greece 9 with that amazing start, but I think he must have been starting for the windward side of the line or the leeward side, because he might be hitting the line at full pace, he just can't get around the fleet, and he must have picked up a penalty as well, because he drops all the way to 8th place by the end of the race. And but I mean, there's so many lead changes in the bottom pack there. There's guys going from 8th to 4th to 3rd and having to drop down all the way to the bottom. So that was a really tight race, and you can definitely tell that these guys are pushing hard.
So July Fra surprising everybody and winning that 3rd race. Leo, could you talk about that performance? Because it won't get him into the final, unfortunately. Where did that gumption come from all of a sudden?
Well, he was just out there to win the last race, really, and that's all you can do. You can't just if you're not going to make the match race, you don't want to come last again. So you push hard and you try to get that win and leave on a good note.
Very, very respectable indeed. So let's take another look at our leaderboard. Augustin is sitting at the top now with 23 points, and following him is Deja Vu with 22 points. His slow and steady and consistent pace got him to the final match race, with Stefan Čežić just missing out, even though they have the same amount of points. Gutted, honestly just gutted. But congratulations to the top 2. Let's bring on the final match race. So just ahead of the final match race, let's catch up with our finalists to see how they're doing and also to find out a little bit more about them. So you've both dominated the virtual waters, that much is clear. Do you have any plans to take on the real waters?
Well, nowadays I am studying in the university. I'm doing a career, so I don't have plans to start sailing soon. But when I was a child, I sail a lot and I compete in so many boats, and I miss that part of sailing. My father tell me to try sailing also with my sister. He started with 7, I started with 5. First time I didn't like it a lot because I was too young, but like 2 months later I try again, and then I sail uh, from 5-6 years to 17. That was when I started my career.
So how do you go about practicing for something like this for the tournaments? You know, do you have a specific regimen, or do you like to take it easy as you practice?
Not particularly. It's there's things that you practice when you're sailing, like or e-sailing. There's things you need to work on. So sometimes you'll do the type of racing that could help with that. But there's various servers we can play on for team racing. That's really good practice for boat handling. And yeah, it's just there's challenges that come out every day or two. If there's a boat that you need to work on, you can race in that. It's just trying to keep in mind like the things you need to work on while you're racing, and gain that experience of when things go wrong, so you can learn from it and try to do better next time.
I am with Mike. Team racing is a very good way to improve your skills. However, I didn't train too much in team racing. I like more fleet race, and I have a little bit of problems in the rules and something like that, when not in the theory, but in the practice I have a little bit of problems in that way, and I need to improve it, of course.
Okay, so bringing it back to the final match race, that was a really good segue. Do you have a specific plan, or are you keeping those secrets close to your chest?
I don't have too many secrets, but yes, I will try to do my best, and if I win, well, I will be really happy. But it will be difficult because Dejavu, I know he trained a lot in team racing, and I'm not. So, well, let's see what success.
Yeah, I can't say I've got many. I can't say I've got a set plan for the final. There's obviously considerations, but I know Augustin's a very good player, and so it'll be tough to beat him. It won't be easy by any means. So hopefully that'll be the goal, and then just when it comes to practicing for this, it's just doing the F50 challenges and fleets. That's all I can really do really. Sometimes some 1v1 practice against a friend or something like that, but I haven't done as much as I did last year regarding that. So yeah, it should be a good race. Looking forward to it.
This is shaping up to be the most congenial final match race ever. I love it. Love that energy. Lastly, do you have any tips for players aspiring to be like the two of you?
Don't get annoyed when you lose. Like, so much of just getting better is failing and finding new ways around it and learning from it. So just don't get annoyed when you lose. Even if you're coming last in the fleet, do what you can to get back to the front. Even if you can't get back to the front, learn from what you did to get back to wherever you got back to. And yeah, try to keep a calm head in the big races as well. That's always a big one. Always a hard one to do. But yeah, just don't get annoyed when you lose.
Well, as Mike said, this game makes you have a lot of opportunities to get back in the race. So race always with your best, do your best, and I think that's the way to win.
Some very useful advice there. Can't wait to see it out in action. Thank you so much, guys.
Good luck in the race, Augustin.
Good luck, Mike.
While we let them get set up and get into the zone, here are some of our competitors with their SailGP Season 2 predictions.
The biggest competitor this year is probably going to be Team Ineos UK and Team USA.
I
struggle to find one team. You know, Ben Ainsley came in off the bat, did really well. Tom Slingsby's obviously a great sailor with a great team. You know, we've got Peter Burling also joining the circuit now, and Jimmy Spittle. So for me, I see there's 5 really strong teams.
This racing's hard. It can be anyone at the end of the day winning these races. It's probably the best fleet in sailing right now. So hopefully everyone's our best competitor, and we go out there and we're really mixing it up and trying to beat those top guys.
Right across the board, anyone could win races or win events. I'm going to go with the British. They were pretty formidable in their first outing, and they've got the same team back, so they're going to be strong.
I think the biggest competitor for the year, I'd go with Team Australia.
Okay, good stuff. So, time is now. It all comes down to this. Deja Vu and Augustin from Spain are going head-to-head in our final match race. For the final time tonight, I'm handing it over to you, Nathan. Take it away.
Thanks, Shane. We're here at the most important match race. We've got Augustin, who won the first race, and we've got Deja Vu, who always seems to be asleep for the first 2 races, but he always comes alive and makes this all-important match race. So he's clearly got the skills to take it out. And we see a lot of maneuvers going on here, trying to jostle for that very important position, and looks like very got light winds for this one.
It is lighter winds, and they're just trying to draw a penalty on the competition. If you could get a penalty in this final 10 seconds, then you're going to start the line at full speed, and your competitor is going to be basically stationary. And you can see there, penalty already given to the British boat. So he's going to start with a penalty. That's not how you want to start the race, is it, Leo?
No, it's not. And we see the Spanish trying to slow him down, and yeah, there's the Spanish that gets the best start here, and he's going to try roll over the top, but the Spanish is giving him a lot of wing wash.
There's a penalty. And the British, he got the penalty against him in the start, but when it counted, he got the penalty back, and now he has a monster of a lead, Leo.
And that's massive, because now all he's got to do is sail clean, stay in front of his opponent, and he'll win the race. But the Spanish, what was he thinking? All he had to do was just point it at the mark and sail fast, but
he was wriggling all over the place. You could see he was driving the boat and looking back and going, oh no, he's going to hit me, and eventually he hit him. So gave the lead away, and now he's got it all to do.
Well, Deja Vu, he would have been really nervous after that start penalty, but now he's heading out to this left-hand side where seems to be a little bit more pressure. He's doing a really good angle towards the boundary at 25.5 knots, so really good B&G. It looks to be a right-hand shift as well, but he's going to have to tack soon. But it looks like the Spanish is doing quite well on the hip there. It looks like the race has closed up.
Cross, he does make the cross. That was a really important cross to make.
It was, and that gives the Spanish boat options. So he's going to tack on the hip again and see if he can do something here. But if it shifts to the right, then he's going to be really, really in trouble.
I guess if you're behind in this situation, the whole goal is just to keep it close. You know, we've seen in eSailGP before, people can make mistakes. They can miss the leylands, or they can hit a mark. You know, the last thing that you'd want to do right now, if you're Ronston here, is to hit a mark. Because if you hit a mark, all of a sudden you are giving up meters. So if the Spanish boat can just keep it close, keep it tight, then just wait for an error, really.
That's the one. And as we go around the top mark for the first time, Deja Vu rounds, it looks like he's going to hold on straight. He's doing a very good angle to the boundary now. He's in a good knock, and Augustin just has no option but to follow his opponent. So he's really going to have to keep it close and wait for a maneuver. Deja Vu jibes and keeps heading down to the bottom mark. What's he going to be thinking from now on? All he's got to do is just keep himself in between him and the opponent, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. So downwind, it's pretty straightforward. Just sort of sail as fast as you can, jibe in the leyland, so you'll expect him to jibe here any second now. Most likely take a right-hand turn because that's less manoeuvres. Spain's just going to keep it tight, keep following in, and we're coming down to the bottom mark, and one boat's going right. Is Spain going to follow it? No, they split. So they're hoping for something now, and instantly you see the British go straight into attack and trying to keep this race really close.
It's almost like he knew that he was going to, go around the other mark, but right now it's really close because Spain actually got a little bit of an advantage going out to that right-hand side, and it's going to be a facial tack here right on top of the Spanish, and that's going to slow him down for this next maneuver. Now this is classic match racing. The British make him go out to the ley lines and make him do short tacks out to the boundaries.
typical match racing here, is keep between your opponent and the next mark, and that's exactly what we see here. Close, tight crosses. You can see that lighter wind coming off the boat. That's the wind shadow. If you can put your info on them, then you're going to slow them down. But it looks like Spain have just got wind clear ahead around the front right now, but it's a long way to get around them. They've got to go a lot faster to get around Deja Vu, or, you know, we'll see here in a second. He'll tack, and what's the British going to do?
We go right on him just to pretend to lead, and here we go. Spanish boat tacks, British goes right on top, and this is an even more commanding position. As you can see, the wing wash coming across off the British boat right onto the Spanish boat, so he'll be sucking in the really bad gas here of the British boat, and he's got no option but to go out for another tack and clear his breeze. The British boat looks like he can just go straight onto the ley line, and that's his final tack towards the top mark, and the Spanish will have no option but to split and go around the other mark, but he tacked on a really tight ley line there.
He did. He looks like he's struggling to lay the mark. You know, he's having to tack and follow. So for me, that's pretty much the race. Deja Vu goes around in first place, foiling just fine here, making his way downwind. Plenty of breeze. Nice jibe there just before the ley line. 170-metre lead. There's no coming back from this right now. The only thing that you could mess up right now is hitting the mark. So I expect he'll do a nice wide turn, and then it's the high-speed reach to the finish.
And there it is, Deja Vu rounds the reach mark for the last time, and he has his blast reach across the finish line, 90 true at 45 knots, and he's just going for a victory sail now as he takes first place. And the Spanish team, Augustin, great start to the event, but right now he's going to take first loser in second place in this match race.
Here's the general stats. Best start. We saw the Spanish won the start, but the crucial moment was that penalty. Largest number of penalties. 2 penalties came against Ronston Deja Vu, but it was that one critical penalty that happened on the first reach that really set up his win.
Wow, it was a very close race though.
No, continue.
It was a very close race, and it was amazing. It was amazing how close it was around that last bottom mark. The Spanish boat really came into Deja Vu there, and Deja Vu did a very good job of actually staying in front and not letting Spanish go around him, actually.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, congratulations to Deja Vu for clinching that win. But my goodness, your heart goes out to Augustin. He had it at the beginning. It was so close. It was such a rough start for Deja Vu. I was convinced, you know. I like to make sensible bets, okay? I had my money on Augustin. Do you have your money on Deja Vu to go all the way, Leo?
Well, you know, I hope so. He's sailing very well. He just has to make sure that he stays in it and stays all the time.
Yeah, because I mean, he's won, I think 2 out of 3 invitationals so far. So I think, you know, that's a pretty sensible bet to me. And Nathan, what has impressed you so far throughout this entire tournament?
I think what I've shown is that, you know, for me, watching the racing, you can see close, it's really tight. You can see anyone can win these races. I think to actually qualify to get in here, these guys have got to be of high caliber. I was chatting to Leo before, asking if he's ever tried to make it into an invitational final. He said he tries every time and he fails. So to me, this means these guys are committed to their training, that they love the game, and you know, it takes a lot of skill to be good consistently.
Well, you never know. You could give it some more practice over the next couple of weeks, and we could see you in one of the next invitationals. What do you think?
I might need some extra perks or something because I'm lacking a lot of boat speed and my maneuvers aren't very good. But, you know, a bit of training, it might pay off.
Bit of training, you never know, you never know. We like to be optimistic over here. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for once again guiding us through the action, giving us the bants, but also providing that analytical eye. What's next up in the schedule for you both?
Yeah, thanks very much. You know, we had a great time today and it was a lot of fun. So next up for us now is just basically getting the boats ready for racing. We'll get one more practice session in before racing begins. The weather here right now in Bermuda is a bit variable. We've had anything between 5 to 10 knots, pretty light winds, all the way up to 30 knots and too windy to go sailing. So you can hear probably in the background, the boys are in the shed prepping the boat. And as soon as we get off the call, I'm sure they'll give us a few jobs and make sure we're ready for racing.
Amazing stuff. Well, we're keeping our fingers and toes crossed for you. Good luck, and we'll see you in Toronto next month. See you later, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Let's catch up with our winner after that epic race. Congratulations on winning that final match race. I know you were really scared after your start, but you managed to pull it back. How do you feel after winning that really tight race?
Yeah, the start was very, very close. I was got the penalty, but sometimes having the penalty can help. As you saw, it's quite hard for Augustin to like stay on me, so I could just go low and come up below him. But yeah, I thought he'd got the roll on me, and just managed to clip him with rights. And from there, it was just playing it sensible, trying to not doing too many tacks because they cost you a lot in the F50, and just keeping the leverage down so that you can get back into it. But yeah, it was a great race.
Yeah, no.
Heart's beating.
Yeah, no, it really was. Was that your technique to go in a little bit more reserved? I mean, obviously, it paid off for you.
Kind of. I had a technique I wanted to try, but he didn't give me the space for it. And so I just adapted and tried something new. I was trying to just hold him to windward. That's all I was trying to do. And unfortunately, messed up the penalty a little bit, trying to go below him and hit the back of him. And then from there, it's just, as I say, managing it, because we were still both quite early for the line. So, yeah, and then knowing in the pre-start how far away each point in the start box was from the line, just testing while we were waiting for the race to start at different points what the time to line was. So I knew what to do if it came to it. But yeah.
So will we see any of those other techniques in some other competitions later on in the year?
Maybe. I'm not sure if there's any big F50 events in the near future, but maybe. So quite a few people do it. It's nothing too special, but yeah, I thought I'd try it. I haven't tried it in a match race yet, so maybe not the best place to try it after all. So maybe it was good that I didn't do it. But yeah.
I feel like I'm talking to the world's most humble esports winner ever. Do you have any plans to like try your hands at any other games, any other esports?
No, I mean, yeah, esport being at the top in an esport is a very difficult thing. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of time and skill, and especially once you get to the bigger ones, it takes a lot of dedication. I don't really know of anyone who does too, so I'll probably leave it there. I enjoy playing other games. I play quite a bit of Rocket League that I'm semi-competitive at. But no, I enjoy Roach Regatta. I'll probably stick to that when it comes to competitive play.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you so much, and congratulations once again.
Thank you very much. It was a really great race, and congrats to Augustin for getting into the final and for giving me such a hard race and a really entertaining restart. And thanks to my sponsors as well, to Ronstan and to all the others. Thank you.
Amazing. I love how nice everyone is in this community. It's lovely. So the search has started for our new 2021 champion. Who do you think it's going to be? Let us know down below in the comments. I'd love to hear your take on it. To keep up to date with all things SailGP, make sure you're following us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube. That's it from me, your host, Shay Thompson, and thank you so much for joining us for this Bermuda eSailGP Qualifier Final. We'll see you next month in Toronto. I look forward to seeing all of your beautiful faces there. To play us out, here's a look at the upcoming final episode of Racing on the Edge.
SailGP is back. A new year, 2 new teams and a familiar setting.
The big headline coming into season 2 is that there are 2 new teams out on the water. If the 2 new teams are the headlines, though, the new skipper is the blockbuster.
Greatest Olympic sailor of all time is coming on board with the Great Britain SailGP team. Welcome, Sir Ben Ainsley.
Ben was good. He was really good. And Tom Slingsby had set it up.
I believe I'm the best sailor in the world at the moment. And a lot of people will disagree with that, and results sometimes might not show that, but there's no one I'm intimidated by on a racetrack.
Tom wanted everyone to know that he was going to prove himself against Ben Ainsley. And I think it was a massive shot.